Awesome. Let's get started. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. My name is Goutham Pacha Ravi, and I have my colleague here, Carlos Eduardo da Silva. And we're both long-term contributors to OpenStack. And we've done this sort of session a lot of times, sometimes with a really small group and sometimes with a massive group. So this is the first time, I think, for the both of us to do this as a workshop style. But we have an expert in the room that has done this multiple times. So I think it'll be okay. So both of us work at Red Hat, and our contribution journey with OpenStack began even before our employment with Red Hat. We've met quite a lot of contributors from around the world with different affiliations, different backgrounds. And we just love this aspect of being able to show somebody else their first path into getting into this community, so that we could, one day start maintaining these projects that we all have come to love. So let's get started with no ado. I think I'll take a sec to figure out slide stuff. There we go. All right. So why contribute to OpenStack, and what is this stuff all about? Well, from the get-go, this community has been built on some principles that you heard today in the keynote as well. The 4 opens. The influence of those things goes beyond the communities that we've actually spawned off. So this is a very vibrant community from the get-go because of those 4 principles, and we thrive on the aspect that we continue to pick up new contributors over the years. So, and who are these contributors? You don't have to be somebody that codes. You don't have to be somebody that is associated with any of these specific projects that are there in OpenStack. You can be a developer, you can be a writer, somebody that tests code, somebody that uses this code. You could be an advocate for these projects. You can just be an open source enthusiast at any contributor level. We really need all the hands we can get, and there is something that any and every one of you can contribute to the community. So through this workshop, we're going to take you through a standard path, what most people do when they start writing code to OpenStack. And so this is probably this will cover about, I don't know, about 60 to 70% of what the community contributions will look like. But this is a good start because you'll hear about things, you'll know things that is probably documented somewhere, but it's too long, didn't read, or you didn't find the motivation to yet. So what are the backgrounds for these people that are contributing? Well, they could be seasoned cloud engineers to absolute newcomers, and that's what the theme of this workshop today is. So as long as you have a browser on your computer and a way to get to a remote system, today we'll try to see if we can get you set up to make your first OpenStack contribution. And the community is basically individuals at the end of the day. And these are not teams, these are not companies, although these individuals do end up belonging to these companies and communities, but no single group of people drives the agenda, and we like to figure things out as a community, and that's the motivation for you folks to join as well. So you can help develop OpenStack the way you want and help steer it the way you want. So in the last release, we had about 500 plus active code contributors that contributed to the 2024.2 release. It was codenamed Dalmatian. But on the slide up there, I have all the contributions until Dalmatian. And you can see the graph of commits that have happened over a period of time. So this has always been the case with this community. We've had a lot of people that you will meet in the real world today that have at some point have had a brush with this community, have been a part of this community, and are continuing to be a part of this community because we love it so much. Why should you contribute? Well, come be a part of the innovation. You've heard that a lot at this conference. And if you've been around the periphery of this community, you will see that it is quite dynamic. We have had our crests and troughs as any technology does, but somehow there's a permanence to this because of the relevance of the software that we're building and how we're doing it. And so that is, in my opinion, a very pervasive reason why somebody should come join us into forming this community. And if you're here because you're discovering this for the first time, you're attending school and stuff, this is a perfect way to start your career growth in this field. Because a lot of people that we've met over the past few years have actually been college graduates. They've been finishing up their degree and trying to figure out what to do. And so they've actually picked up open source contributions just to see if they can associate with the technology, if this is something that'll interest them to make a career out of, and also to build networks. So whether you're a college student or you're here as a seasoned industry veteran, this is a perfect networking opportunity. And contributing to open source is always a way to make friends, and there are no borders really. And come help shape the future. Today in the keynote, you saw a few new use cases that have come up for a software that's shipped 30 releases. It's very surprising to see new use cases every single time. And so that's part of the excitement to be part of this community. So and that'll keep happening. So that's why I think if you join the community, you'll get to be a part of shaping that. And so I believe, and we believe, that OpenStack firmly rests on the trough of timeless innovation. This is what the gist of this is. So if it is as fundamental as operating systems are to computers, it is that for the cloud. It is solving critical use cases. It is trying to manage infrastructure. It is trying to herd the cats, and we do a lot of that as part of the community as well. And it also unlocks the potential for starting your open source journeys, because we have had OpenStack veterans go off and spawn different open source projects, be part of different innovation elsewhere. Like you go to any open source conference, you will have a whole bunch of OpenStack alumni. So come be part of that alumni, if anything, right? So that's the reasons to join. And what are contributions? We'll take you through some of those, but the one that we will focus on today in this workshop is going to be how you can get on Gerrit and submit something that could either be a bug fix or a documentation fix. And we'll try to get each one of us get used to that. But our contributions are beyond that. It isn't just the fact that you can write code, you can fix code, you can write documentation or fix documentation. It's also stuff that if you're able to test this software, it is some way you can contribute to this community. If you're able to report bugs against this software, it is a way to contribute to this community. If you're able to do some evangelism and advocacy for this community, that is another way to contribute to this community. And also, if you have the means to be able to support this community through resources. Like this morning, I heard somebody has $60,000 worth of equipment to donate. Perfect. That's a way to support this community and to be contributing to this community, and to sponsor projects, to fund other people to contribute to this community, and to provide hardware for testing, for scaling this stuff. So there's 100 different ways to come contribute and be part of the OpenStack community. And don't hold yourself back. So you may have seen this somewhere, maybe on a previous presentation, maybe on a website. What is OpenStack really? And there's a lot of different ways to answer that. And having been a long-time contributor, I still don't think I can do that with an elevator pitch style. This slide is an attempt at it. So there are a lot of different names over here. And all of these are code names, which is one of the first confusing things about this community to a new contributor. What are these names? Do they have meanings? They actually do, and they're actually many a times tongue-in-cheek humor at somebody attempting to name something to represent something. And so one of the first things that you will see is that you will need to get to know this. And I promise this is fun. A lot of times, the project name has a history, so look it up. But what it does is what this slide tries to capture. what do these different projects within OpenStack try to do? And what is the purpose that they're trying to solve and what layer of the infrastructure are they tackling these problems within? So if I mean you will see a lot of different use cases, or rather these services that they're the offerings that they're making right above the names of the projects, and the project names are those big ones out there. So the most common of them you may have heard of: Nova, Swift, Cinder, Manila, Neutron, Octavia, Designate, Ironic, Cyborg. I could rattle off. There are about 40 different projects that you may have heard of at some point or the other. But the idea is, when somebody starts throwing around this word project, it is very confusing. So as a new contributor, I would like for you to understand that as the beginning, that OpenStack is not one thing. It is all of these things and beyond. And each of these things is informally called a project. But sometimes you can use the same name to describe the team that's working behind it. But in reality, some of these are services that go become part of a cloud, right? So if you see this project thrown around, I think what most people are referring to would be the team that's running, that's maintaining these services. So today you're going to write some code, hopefully, into one of these repositories, and hence become a project contributor to OpenStack as a whole. So in this big list, we have repositories that are behind these projects, right? So each project over there that is there, like Nova, for instance, it doesn't live in one place. It actually has 3 or 4 repositories that the code is distributed within. And that's the second layer of complexity that you will enter after you start contributing, because you're going to go figure out, where is this code, right? And there is a little bit of a method to this madness that we can unravel later in this workshop, and we can talk to you as well and help you figure out what layer your code fix ought to be in. So in total, though, there are all of these services, these project teams, and each of them has multiple repositories, and these repositories deal with the services themselves. There is the core component of each of these things, and then there are client software that you install to interact with these services. There are SDKs, there are UIs, and then there are also tools that will help you manage the configuration of these different services. There are tools that help you deploy these services onto your cloud. There are tools that help you upgrade and manage these services on your cloud, and so on. So all of those is the hidden complexity behind this graph, behind this fancy table that we could use. We don't need to go too much into the details of this, but you can always revisit this from the slide deck or from the OpenStack website. Let's go on to what is the one weird thing that we think about OpenStack. Well, at the very beginning, I mean, we as a community have also evolved a lot, right? And I mean, there was a time in our life cycle that there was more code than there were people to be able to review it, and so we evolved some practices that we're still trying very hard to shed, to still be very welcoming to anybody that is discovering this software and discovering this whole community right now. And so, but I would want to preface that with this slide, saying one of the ways to get involved in this community requires you to do some work, and that some work is encapsulated by 3 things. One is try to understand what the context is. You saw the previous slide. OpenStack is not one thing, so that's the first thing to know. OpenStack is 100 repositories. Actually, it's 600. But understand where what the work being done is. That's step 1. And the second step is to try to communicate, because open source development is never done in silos. You cannot hold your laptop up and push up a change and expect that to get merged. Usually, there is some communication that happens beyond the code that you write, and trust me, it's not hard. And the people that are managing these projects are really looking forward to the contributions, but it may not come across so. This is something we can fix, and we are working on it. But from what I would expect from each and every one of you is to actually, have an open mind and communicate. Get in touch with the project contributors and join the conversation where the conversation is happening, because we really don't know what a new contributor needs sometimes. And the third part, which is going to be the hardest part of your open source journey anywhere, with any community-driven open source project, is to be able to earn trust. Not everyone has all of the context and is able to communicate properly. And so this third one becomes very hard to do, because it actually relies on the first two. But one thing that I've seen over time with this is, be humble and declare your intentions, and that goes a long way. Because a lot of the times the project maintainers don't know what your own personal story is, and so they don't know why you're worried about your patch, or what is your worry. So approaching it with an open mind, and starting a conversation is the first step to earning trust. And the next set of things for trust is to be able to communicate as long as you're there trying to get your patch merged. A lot of the times we've seen folks just come, start adding code, and then they go away, and we don't really know why. It could be us, and we constantly try to reevaluate that part and try to fix ourselves. But many a times it's also because you don't know what to do next. And through this workshop, we really want to show you what to do next. Once you've submitted that patch, what to do next. And that'll go into earning trust with the community. Awesome. So I've said my piece. I think I'm going to hand off to Carlos to do the fun parts of this workshop.
Okay, so there's a lot of history, as Goutham said, and OpenStack community is just amazing. And I think I kind of fell in love from the very first contact that I had with it, and like it's been 6 years since I've been working with in OpenStack, and specifically in Manila. So, but there are some like differences, or there are some ways that you can contribute. And for example, where is the code? Well, you'll be able to see the code in GitHub, because sometimes I just go ahead and download the code from GitHub, but the code is not actually hosted on GitHub. GitHub has like a mirror from opendev.org, which is pretty much like a front end to some Git servers. And yeah, that's pretty much the source of truth. So the code is entirely hosted on opendev.org, and all of the OpenStack repositories, they are under the namespace OpenStack/something. So yeah, you can pretty much like take a look if you want into this link, and then you find like a whole variety of repositories from the OpenStack organization. And yes, we have the mirrors on GitHub, but please don't submit pull requests, because nobody's gonna look at them. We actually use a different code review system and a different place for you to submit your code, which is Gerrit. So it's a different URL. We'll get through that in a bit. But yeah, we use Gerrit as many other companies do. And I think I just got too used to it, and I can't use GitHub anymore. But yes, Gerrit is just awesome. So we'll go over that in a second. But the documentation, right? Where is the documentation for every single OpenStack repository? Well, everything is on this docs.openstack.org. So this is a very good starting point, because if you look at this, it will pretty much show a lot of like the documentation that the OpenStack community has. So for example, this is like welcome to OpenStack documentation, and then you can see like release notes for all of the projects, and the user guides, which is pretty much, if you are an end user, that's different from being like an administrator or being an operator. You should be looking at these guides, and every single project, they will have these specific guides. So if you are an operator and you'd like to know some things about installation and deployment, you look at this page and go find the installation guides and deployment guides for the project that you are trying to start using and that you are installing in your environment. Some other project specific guides, now like operations and administration and administrator guides, they are pretty much like guides for people that have more privileges in a cloud. Users, like they are limited to certain actions, but administrators and operators, they have a lot of other access privileges. So SIG specific documentation, some extra configuration guides, and the API guides. So API guides, they are very important for us, like to as developers, but also like, you know, if you are consuming the API in any sense, like the OpenStack community tries to pretty much make available all of the APIs. Some projects, you know, like sometimes there might be a lack of, you know, some parts of the API ref because these changes, they are going so fast sometimes, and then there might be a piece missing there. But that's another opportunity for us to go ahead and just like add some extra documentation for that. But yeah, API guides. You'll be able to look at that and you'll see like response examples, request examples, what's the endpoint that you are hitting when you are making a request, and a lot of things like that. And if you are willing to contribute, which is the case for this, we have the contributor guides. So yeah, there is the OpenStack contributor guide, OpenStack documentation contributor guide. So a lot of these guides, project guides, and yeah, Goutham pretty much like showed that picture with 40 projects, and we have more than that. So how can you find the documentation specifically for our project? Well, all of them are gonna follow like the same basically pattern, which is gonna be docs.openstack.org. And then you can pretty much replace it by the name of the service. So you can see like Nova's documentation. Thanks. So you have Nova documentation. And then again, for end users, tools for using Nova, writing to the API for operators, contributors. So everything's here. If you go to like Cinder, for example, which is another OpenStack project for block storage, all of the documentation for Cinder is also here, and it follows pretty much like the same structure with API reference, end user, operators, contributors, and yeah, the two of us work in vanilla, so follows the same pattern. Like vanilla pretty much has the same documentation, like the same structure of the documentation, and that's pretty much like how we should be looking at the documentation for these projects. Yeah, it's consistent, and I think, for example, if we are like starting to contribute, it's very important for us to look at the contributor and developer guide. There is a whole lot of things here that is very important for us. For example, where is the code? And that's the information that I've, you know, like I just mentioned, it's like on opendev.org. How can you communicate with this community? So mostly OpenStack, or mostly no, like OpenStack projects, they will communicate through IRC. And there's also like the team meetings. So every week, every single week, the teams will, most of the teams will do every single week, and some teams will do bi-weekly. So you need to check that. But the teams, they promote a bi-weekly meeting or a weekly meeting. And in the case of Manila, it's like every Thursday, 3 p.m. UTC, we are meeting, and we will just go over like updates for the project and deadlines, and go over some review focus or any other topics that contributors would like to bring up. So that's pretty much, you know, like one of the ways that the communication goes. But yeah, you can also contact, you know, like Goutham mentioned about like earning the trust. And there are some people that earned that trust, and they have been named the core reviewers of the project. So in like, you can see who is in the core project of this team. Yeah, so for Manila, there is like this list of people in the core team. It's a bit outdated. Yeah, that's another thing that should change. But yeah, it's pretty much like a list of people that you can reach out to if you have any questions, or you know, like it has their IRC nicks, it has some contact information from for them. So yeah, uh, this is this part for contacting the core team, but also, like there is the documentation, like how should you do new feature planning and how do you report a bug? Like if you ran into an issue and you tried something that doesn't work anymore, then you can pretty much try to report a new bug. And in Manila, we will use Launchpad. Some other projects would use Storyboard. But yeah, we just stick to Launchpad. And here you can see like pretty much all of the issues that we have in Manila right now. So yeah, I think for where is the code and for documentation, these are the places that like we can take a look at if we have any questions and if we are looking for how to contribute and how to operate these services. Now we will get like to the fun parts, actually more fun, which is what do you need to do to get your first code contribution? Well, first things first, we have created an Etherpad for you with some information. So you need an environment, and that environment is something that some people can't spin up in their own machines. And we actually don't recommend you to install this environment in your like laptop. We recommend you to like create a new virtual machine and then install this environment or install this install this development environment. Yeah. So DevStack, it's very stable, and DevStack is the name of the development environment for OpenStack. And I mean, it's not supposed to be like a pet at this point, like it's pretty much, it's broken. Yeah, let's delete it and create a new one. And that that gets more difficult if you installed it in your own machine. So that's why we suggest you creating a VM and then deleting it. And yeah, so there are some resources here. We've pre-created some virtual machines to use on this workshop, and we made them available to you so you can test stuff with or test the bug fixes and before you submit the code. And you can use also this VM if you'd like to submit the code. But yeah, we will need some information from you before you log into these VMs, which is you'll need to provide your SSH public keys. We'll get to that in a bit. We'll show how to generate the SSH keys. But as soon as you have them, if you'd like to give it a shot, please add your public key here. Both of us are using our Launchpad accounts, and we are adding our SSH keys to our Launchpad accounts. We also create a Launchpad account with you. So yeah, first thing, yeah, join the Etherpad. And second thing you will need is a device with internet access, because of the reasons that I just mentioned. The VMs, they are remote, and I mean, thanks Vexhost, the VMs are on Vexhost, and you'll need to access those VMs. Yeah, the second thing would be joining OpenInfra as an individual contributor. Both of us already did that, but we've created another account just to show how this process works. So here you have like two options to join the OpenInfra as a contributor. So you need to go to openinfra.dev/join. And then in this case, like we are joining as individual contributors. So let's go to an individual. Yeah. So yep.
Let's take a poll. Are you folks doing it with us at the moment? Okay, awesome. Yes. I can walk around and help folks if you'd like. That same applies to people on the bridge. Oh, okay. It might make it easier if you open this Etherpad on your machine locally, so you can click through the links and so on. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, let's go back to the. And you can just put it right there in the Etherpad. And if folks on Zoom want to say anything, I think you can. We might have trouble hearing you, so you might want to type out a text, yeah, through the chat option. This is the. Wait, want to be unmute?
If you have somebody who's online.
Oh, who's trying to say online? Yeah, okay. Folks that are on Zoom, could somebody just tune in and say hi on the mic, on your mic?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you.
Cool.
Thank you. So feel free to interrupt us, and we can answer your question.
Sure, thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so you have the link to the Etherpad here. It's etherpad.opendev.org /p/02code. And now what we are trying to do is we are joining OpenInfra as an individual contributor. So yeah, openinfradev.join openinfra.dev/join/individual. And we'll pretty much click on participate as an individual member. Yeah, both of us already registered, as I said, so we created like a new account pretty much to show you how this should be done. So yeah, this account is called Happy Maxstacker Face. And the email we have is Happy Maxstacker. Country. Yes. Password. So create a new password. Say I'm not a robot. And yeah, let's agree to the OpenInfra Foundation Code of Community of Code Conduct.
We would encourage reading that, but
Yeah.
it isn't. It isn't just fluff. I think part of it is if you read it, you'll understand the philosophy behind the community. So we'd encourage reading it over time.
Yeah. So I would just like accept this. Can read as well, but yeah, let's just accept it. And yeah, you have like two options here: make me a foundation member and make me a community member. And there are some like the terms for becoming the Open Infrastructure Foundation individual member. I think there are some fundamental differences for that.
Yeah.
Right?
The foundation
Yes.
can vote in foundation elections. So if you choose not to, you can be a community member. The difference does not really, I mean, if you want to just contribute as a community member, that's totally fine. We would encourage your participation in the Open Infra Foundation. So if you can, sign up to be a foundation member.
Yes. So foundation member, because we would love to vote on the elections later. No, I'm just kidding. This account is very likely being deleted after or something like that.
We were told we can't delete it, so
yeah.
the next time it'll be Happy Maxstack Phase 2 or something.
Yeah.
We deleted it.
Can we? Okay.
Right.
All right. So there's some like information about this account and like statement of interest. You can add your GitHub user, RC handle, Twitter, LinkedIn, WeChat, and pretty much what programs you are involved with. So what are your intentions or what projects do you intend to contribute to? So there's like Nova and pretty much not only all of the services that you saw in that picture, more than that will be here as well, because there's like more projects than we actually show there. But you can pretty much show what's your interest, what are your interests here. Yeah, and some other information. Let's say we have, let's not add like a GitHub user and our an IRC handle. And let's say we have the interest on like Nova, let's say, yeah, CLI.
The good thing about this, you can always go back and edit this. So this is our initial intake survey. Don't worry too much about it, especially if you don't know which one you want to contribute to. It's okay to leave everything unchecked, move on, but you can always come back and edit it. And some of the other questions that are there below are totally not relevant. They're only relevant once when we have events. Right? Like, hey, do you have a food allergy? Because we're trying to find out who's coming to our events and how we have to set them up for. So
We
feel free
do
to.
appreciate the gender information from the Diversity and Inclusion Working Group. That is helpful for us.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so you can provide this and cannot, but yeah, as Amy said, like it's important. So yes, that's a nice touch. So the foundation can also know these numbers, and like it's very important for the diversity and inclusion group.
Those couple of checkboxes. The first one of them is basically about foundation news. I find these useful. They're like a summary of things that are happening inside the foundation, including callouts to events that are upcoming and so on. So if you would like to receive those, I promise I've never seen spam come through. I don't know. Jimmy might have different plans in the future, but at the moment they're very. If you would like to sign up, that's okay. The other part is bio on openstack.org. So this is nice because it's a nice archive of all the OpenStack Foundation profiles. You can actually look each of our profiles up. You can see all the things that we've done with foundation events and so on. So it's one way to show your continued involvement with the community. So you can choose to have that checked as well. And the bio that Carlos is showing that's what goes up on that page. But all of this is optional. Feel free to sign up.
Yeah. So I would like
the last one, again, another important call out for us. Please add your affiliation if you're affiliated. And again, something that can always change. A lot of us, our affiliations keep changing. That's totally fine. But we would love to have your affiliation information just for our own survey and demographic purposes. We'd like to see where the contributions are coming from and so on. So please add your affiliation.
yes. So let's submit. Yeah, I need to add at least one.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize that's required now.
Let's.
Because of a recent TC election.
Oh, really?
Swear by it, but it could be.
Yeah.
All right.
Start date. First date.
We'll have to put
end
it in.
date.
Yeah.
It's current.
Perfect. So let's submit it. Oh,
I think you have some reds above. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Just about affiliation. Oh, I said Chief Carlos.
Oh.
That works though. That's okay. I don't think they have.
Sorry, it's very English.
I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because you're trying to put it in the future.
Oh yeah, maybe. He's
Oh, yes.
flagging the date. That's probably above. I see a bunch of reds, but I'm also a little colorblind. So. Okay. Are you guys able to get through with the information that? Oh, you're also getting a validation error. Okay, maybe I can come over and look.
Sure. Go on, Carlos.
Be able to submit it.
Oh, no, I already.
You
had an
did.
account.
Okay, you had an account.
Yeah.
I mean, gender isn't marked as.
It says validation error. Affiliation. Okay.
It's just saving.
Yeah, it's not saving. Jimmy, do you know?
Address.
marked as required though.
Yeah. That's-
Is current.
yeah, it doesn't have to-
You want me to see?
Sure, yeah,
It is mandatory if it is correct.
Yeah, I
Isn't-
saw a message in the chat as well, mentioning that there are also some validation errors.
No. it
Yeah.
See if it works around. Okay, sorry.
Everybody else was able.
Everybody else having the same problem?
We've got an affiliation problem on the chat.
Okay, that's the same.
We need to go find Jeremy.
I don't think Jeremy's gonna be able to help us.
Okay.
It doesn't have.
Be a browser issue. Yeah, you're getting a 4. Oh, I see, for just submitting the affiliation information.
You have 404 submitting the affiliation.
Yeah, every time you hit save.
Yeah, it's just getting you a 404.
Well, you guys you're on Chrome, right?
I'm getting mine on Safari, doesn't matter.
You, what network? You guessed?
What network? Well, I'm piggybacking on my phone.
Might be something where you have to go back. I need to see. If you want to send me your email address, me at openinfra.dev, it's me.
We could just add it to that Etherpad because there's a bunch of people that'll have that issue.
Okay, yeah. And I can follow up.
Carlos, do you want to try the community member without the foundation profile just to
Yeah,
see if that makes any difference? Okay. Working now, it was a problem with dates on prior affiliations.
I think it was for.
Oh, I see. Oh, for an update.
Yeah, I'm good now. I had a previous one that expired, I think because I didn't vote. So I'm just updating all the affiliations. It's working now
Okay.
Voting is important.
though. Yeah.
Thank you.
So all but 2 people are able to do it.
Who all has a problem?
So guys, okay, all right. Yeah, if you put your name in the Etherpad, follow up. Apologies.
The interesting thing is my start at Red Hat changed. It had me as starting Red Hat in 2020.
Anybody else also having that issue? You could add your email to that Etherpad. Try to follow up with you.
Logging in Firefox.
Oh, it is? Okay, so it is a browser issue.
It's like Chrome is the one not working.
Okay,
It's helpful.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Troubleshooting.
It's not very inclusive. It doesn't work.
Okay. Works in Firefox.
All right. Anybody still having an issue? Which browsers
What's the URL?
to join?
Yeah, is it open?
Join.
Dev/join.
Keep going on.
Did you say you wanted us to change the foundation member? Is that correct?
So that's totally a choice. You don't have to, but if you'd like to vote in the foundation.
Are you?
elections,
Seemed like
you could-
I thought you said no, Fedora. I was
No,
like.
that's what.
So it's not a requirement to be
Yeah,
a
it's just
foundation
open.
member,
Open
if you just
info
want to
dot dev.
contribute code.
Okay, thanks.
Everybody okay with Firefox and creating an account?
Thanks for testing that.
Yeah,
Firefox.
thanks. Right, so yeah, I think we can, we can proceed with that. So Firefox working, so if you can please use Firefox to create the account, that will work.
Take it
Yeah,
in.
and if there are any other issues, please let us know and just add there, and then we'll take a look later. So yeah, you need to join OpenInfra as an individual contributor. Goutham is kindly doing that right now for that account so that we can proceed and like create submit patches or things like that using that account again. And then after you join like as an individual contributor, you also need to register to Gerrit, which is the code review system that I just talked about. So there's again some good documentation about Gerrit in the contributor guides, and like it's very well documented. But like we can just go to the Gerrit page, and then we'll see like a lot of changes that are currently being proposed to OpenStack. So for example, like this is like not only a single project, there's like starting exchanges being proposed, OpenStack, Polyaceable, OpenStack Swift, and a lot of other projects. So all of the changes that are being proposed, they will end up in this list. But you can also filter the changes like considering a specific project that you would like to contribute. So for example, you can look at the changes that are open with status open, and then you can go to project, and then let's say I want to see the open changes in the Nova project. So OpenStack/Nova. Yeah, so these are the open changes, and then like you can list them, and you can also go through each one of these changes. So if you click in any of them, it will show a whole lot of information. But I mean, it's all of it. It's very useful. Let's put it that way. As soon as you get used to Gerrit, you are gonna pretty much love it. Which is pretty much like who's the owner of this change, who is reviewing currently. So we see like Goutham is has reviewed this change and added like a positive code review. CC is usually like people copy it to this change, and there will be like CI as well. What is the repository that this change is targeting, and what's the branch? Yeah, so, and then you can set a topic and some submit requirements. For example, most projects, they will require at least two core reviewers of the project to vote on this change and have like their +2, which is like positive reviews. The change has to be like verified +1 in this case, which is verified is like two and CI system that will pretty much run a set of jobs for every single time you propose a change to Gerrit. So let's say you propose this change and this change is like to Nova, right? And then here in the zoo summary, there is like all of the jobs that are being run against a change every time someone proposes a new change or a new patch set in OpenStack. So each one of these is one VM that the OpenStack CI system will spin up, and it will run a set of tests. And then as soon as the tests are completed, it will report back to this change. So in Nova, you can see like there's like 30 jobs or 30 VMs being spawned for every single change that is being proposed. And then all of those tests, they will report the results in the change, and that will add this verified vote. The change cannot merge as it was with the verified -1 or the negative verified thing. It has to be positive. It should be passing. I think there are some occasions that you can force the change to merge, but that's not ideal. And usually the CI has to be passing. And as soon as you have like all of the votes, one member of the core team of that project will hit the workflow button, which will actually trigger some more CI jobs to run against that change, like unit tests, functional tests, and scenario tests. All of that will be run again before the change is actually merged to the repository. So this is kind of like an overview of what a change looks like in Gerrit. You see like the here's pretty much, you know, like the files that this change is modifying or adding in this case, all of the comments for this change, and also the zoo summary, zoo being the CI system that OpenStack uses. So yeah, we could navigate through these changes, like you know, like there's a lot of things that were modified, but let's go to our Gerrit account creation, which is the important part here. So we are using our Happy MaxStack Face account. I think I can just log in there.
No, this is
We'll have to get a
yes. This is the second account you will need.
Yes.
So you'll have to make another account, and this one is on Ubuntu one. So that's the so when you click on the login button, the sign in button, you'll be taken to this page, and he's saying Happy MaxStack Face does not have an Ubuntu one account, so he's going to start making one. The deal here is use the same email address as you did with the other account, with the Open Infra account, just to keep things sane. And I'll extend that to another thing. It's not just your emails. In some places, you will be asked to pick a username. So pick one and use it consistently across all the different places. Less confusing for anybody that wants to talk to you, that wants to work with you. Less confusing for yourself, because you don't have to be different personas and different systems.
I think it's a
So you
space.
can't have a space in the
Oh, that's the username.
Yeah.
Sorry.
just two accounts, right? Yes. Okay. Just trying to remember.
It's 3 in total, the foundation one.
So we'll need to verify this now. Is the email
Yes,
open?
the email's open. So each of these, as soon as you create your account, you're going to get a confirmation email. So yeah, just go ahead and confirm it from your email address. Sorry, it was open.
Yeah, so I've got an email that from Ubuntu One, which is Ubuntu One, finish your registration. And then there's a URL. To confirm your email address, please click on the link below. And then clicking on that link should get us ready for that. So I don't know if I should look in here.
All right. So are you folks going through this registration with us? Having any trouble?
Watching.
Another cool thing about this is a one-time setup. Usually, you don't have to do this, not usually. You'll never have to do this again if you remember that email address that you used and you have a way to get into it.
Yes, I should bring this in.
Just copy the. Wow. Oh, just to be sending it again.
It will work for you. It didn't for us because we are like with two different computers, and then it's pretty much said we started the validation in a session, and then we finished. We were trying to finish the validation in a different session, and it didn't let us because we should be in the same session. But for you, it will work.
Let us know if it's not.
Yeah. So there will be a page saying, "Are you sure you would like to confirm?" And then just hit like yes, and then there might be something showing up as like to confirm you're not a robot.
Apparently, I am.
Yeah, so we should have the Launchpad account, the Ubuntu One account now, and we should be able to log in to get it. So if I go to review.tender.org, the previous URL. If we try to log in, this session is already there, so already authenticated. So just click yes, log me in. But there are some scenarios that it will ask us for the user and the password. So now I've logged in. Yeah, let's say display name. And let's add a new username, Max Backspace, using the same one I've used for the Ubuntu One account. And it would be nice also to use the same one, like for other things that you might set up, because it's easier for you to be recognized during the contributions. You are pinging people on IRC, for example. If in case you get to do that, it's easier for people to understand that you are the person proposing that change, and they can like pretty much link the two things and get to know, like that you are proposing that. So we have the account, and if we go to settings, we would get to the next phase of this, which is signing the individual contributor agreement. So there is this agreements link here. You can just click that, and then you will need to click agreements and new contributor agreement. And what we would like to use in this case is the OpenStack individual contributor license agreement. I mean, there's like also two different types here. For example, US government CLA and also system CLA. In this case, you are going to use the ICLA. You can pretty much review the whole agreement. And, like when I looked at it, the first time I did it, I looked at the agreement, and there's like some nice information there. So you can review it, and then as soon as you're ready, you can type I agree and submit. Yes, so we have the agreement now. Let's get back to settings, and that would be the next step. Yeah.
Were you folks able to do that? Sign the agreement? Okay. Anybody having trouble?
Will cause problems if you skip this step.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you skip this step and you try to submit your code, you're going to see an error message on your terminal.
Very
It's a good thing to just get done with this at the beginning.
Yes. So yeah, we have the agreement. Now the next step is how you're submitting your change to Garrett. There are two ways you can do that. I think that I'm aware of two I've used two. One of them is like HTTP credentials. You can have Garrett generating a new password for you. And then when you try to submit the changes to Garrett, you use the username and you specify this password that you have generated with Garrett. Or, but this is kind of like very, like very unusual because the most common practice for you is to go ahead and create an SSH key because everyone does that. And SSH keys, they are very useful for a lot of other things. For example, you also need it for using for accessing the VM. So you need to use the SSH to communicate with SSH and open a secure shell instance with the VM that you are trying to work on. So yeah, you need to create that. So we should create a new, should we?
Yeah. So if you get back to the presentation, there is a command you can copy paste. So if you don't have an SSH key already, I'd go to a terminal, copy paste that command, and it should generate an SSH key for you. If you'd like, you can customize the comment you're using out there. That works on Linux and maybe Mac systems as well.
Yes. So as soon as you just like comment, as soon as you generate the SSH key, there will be a couple of files that will be generated by that. There is like a private key and a public key. The public key is the one that you can share. The private key, you should never share it. You should keep it to yourself. Never share your private key, only the public one. And the public one, you can also add it to your Launchpad account. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how we share our keys with each other. And that's how you can see our keys here. Like in the Etherpad, we've added in this Etherpad, there is our SSH key and it will look just like this. So this is Goutham key. And this is my key here. So if you add this, my key to any remote server that I can reach, or I would be allowed to SSH into it because you have authorized me to do that. So please generate your SSH keys and add them to Garrett, or you can add your public keys here. So we'll be able to add them to the VM.
Any help that anybody needs to create their SSH keys? Do you want to show the Garrett page that they can edit?
Yes. So this is the Garrett page that you will be like adding your SSH key to. So as soon as you've generated, you can grab the content of the public key and you can just paste it here and click this button. It will become available for you as soon as you add. So you can click this add new SSH key button and it should work. Yeah, questions?
Right. Again, usually a one-time setup. If you're going to commit code from this machine that you are using today, you just need that one SSH key. But if you're going to change your machine tomorrow, or go submit code from somewhere else, you might have to regenerate an SSH key or grab the SSH key and add it to the thing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Usually one time, all of these things. So not something we do again and again and again.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, as soon as we have the SSH key and when we add the key to Garrett, then yeah, there's like two other steps. You should install have Git and Git review installed. Git pretty much because you will need like to use Git to commit and to do all of the versioning control. And Git review is what we use for interacting with Garrett. So it's a bit different, like the workflow with Git. You won't do like a Git pull or a Git push. You do like Git review with Garrett, and then it will send your code to the remote of that repository, and the code will be pushed to the Garrett page, and you'll be able to see it there. So That's, I think in terms of setups, that's it. Yeah.
On your systems, if you're using a Mac, I see a lot of Macs in the room. If you use Brew, Brew install Git would do it. If you have pip,
Good instructions for how to.
yes, how to do this. So if you click on the Gerrit link on the register on Gerrit, there is like a manual on how to install this on different systems. But those are the two commands that you do need locally on your machine.
Yeah, that was my problem with this was when I went through this, you have 2 lines on how to use Git review. When I tried to put my first patch, I was like,
Blew up.
and nothing.
I think Brew installs it in a different place and pip installs it in a different
I
place.
don't know how Git review interacts with Garrett. I couldn't get my way through that part.
Oh, okay.
All right, so do you have it installed?
Yeah, of course.
We also did.
I do, yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, so everybody,
Okay.
Git review?
Any questions?
SSH key.
Have a here.
Should not need a dash in there,
The SSH key in the
space review.
not the same as the launchpad, is it?
Different.
So I'm not in an OpenStack, so I go to
So you can upload the same SSH public key to different. So Launchpad is something we're not really using today, but if you were to interact with OpenStack projects, you'll realize a lot of them have their bug trackers on Launchpad. So if you're going to go use Launchpad anyway, that's one place to go store your SSH key. Usually you don't really need it for any other purpose, but to share it with other people. It gives you a URL that you can just hand it out to other people. But if you'd like to go to that Etherpad and drop your top key, you just plain text added there too. It is.
Plain text will work as well, and we'll be able to add your keys to the VM. Yeah, so I think if everybody has their keys, I think we can pretty much go ahead and add some keys to the VMs. Yeah, so we have like one key here ready. So please add your keys, and then that's like the next step, which is you will need to add your keys to the VM that to the VM so that you can test stuff and contribute with the code. We have also created a pool of low-hanging fruit bugs for people to contribute with. They have like some code bugs and also some documentation bugs. So let's. Yeah, so this is the list of bugs. So it's in. Oh, you've added to the. So first time contributor friendly issues. There are some code issues and there are some documentation issues. I think up until this point is code, and here from like this update one is going to be like documentation issues. But I think all kinds of contributions matter in this case because documentation is also very valued and important. And it's also like a very good place for us to get started with contributions. So yeah, I would definitely ask you to take a look at this and assign one of these bugs to you. So that's the bug that you'll be proposing to fix to.
For the remainder of the duration, what we're going to do is just this. So if you can pick up an issue, we'll be happy to help you, fix it and try to push your code up to Gerrit. Feel free to pick up either a code or a documentation issue. The cool things about OpenStack repositories, the code and the document, same place. You'd be cloning the same repository to fix either code or the.
Yeah.
So it's Etherpad.
That's not work.
Where do I have to put my public key somewhere?
There's a gentleman. SSH. SSH, I'll just ask him. Yeah. Okay. Especially because we only have tell. Okay, that's because it doesn't have a so we can tear one really quick for you, but is that something Sage?
Public key in this.
Yeah.
Okay. That was, you get you.
Alright, so yeah, so to do with over here is to first clone that report.
Case. Okay.
So you can clone it from.
I need just this string here, or do I need the whole?
Code lives in GitHub.
Is it better?
So our mirrors are always up, but you can do it from OpenDev if you like. So first things first, I would use it. It's just a matter of.
You got it?
I just.
Yeah.
That works.
I'm sorry,
No, no, no.
29.
We did 21, sorry. You can add like another line after this. These that already. We can fix. No,
He has a link on where the document. Ah,
Oh, oh,
you can copy that path, like. Nice.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it says A7.
History.
So I can give you some context. I think what's going on is at that top, it has a service command. Yeah, so it just has no things like you couldn't do anything else.
Okay.
So
and
what?
Is it something like -C?
Yes.
-C. Oh, sorry, -f value. Or
Yes,
something.
and the best part is if you go to the dev, link or the code is that GitHub. You could just do a
Or the.
actual code that we implemented. Can help you find it. You
Sure,
like
sure.
so you let's
Can't just lose them yet, right?
makes things easier. Use the search bar here to say. If I think in the keyboard layout is
Yeah, the
way off.
keyword layout
Okay, there
is
it
the
is.
keyword.
And in this commit message, I think he might have a way to, or maybe on this one. Yeah. It's
It adds out from a table.
table, JSON or YAML. We added minus F, I think. Minus format on.
Same normal minus if in
Yes.
OpenStack command.
So you would just add that to entities that you have.
Yeah, okay.
Whoever wants to add it. The cool way to do it would be, I gave you access to it. If you want to just try that command, that's also another option.
Yeah, sure.
So if you want to SSH into that VM, yeah, just copy stack and SSH into.
Does it have like a dev check?
It's already installed. Will I manage?
I don't know the OpenStack, or it's just.
Yeah, it's actually just Manila manage. But I think it's not gonna. Okay, so the problem, the thing with DevStack, this will be there in the documentation, is that it uses a virtual environment.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I can
I've
show you
got
where that is, which is
used DevStack
Yeah.
for a long time. I don't know.
So let's source that. It's in the data directory.
Maybe in the root or something.
VM. There we go. So yeah, now you should be able to. Over there, the command was service. I think. Oh no, actually, you're right. On the service list, you should also be able to.
So I think it's like.
I'm
just giving you your 15-minute warning,
okay.
then we'll break. We'll head up to upstairs for the break, fourth floor, and we'll all reconvene where we started this morning. Okay? Great.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's,
Yep.
that would be the.
Yeah, exactly. And now you should be able to just add that.
As to what the issue exactly is, like, I just
grab this.
Yeah, so, yeah,
I think now I
Yep.
know what to do.
Yeah.
And when I like to
see what, and then we can log it over, and this is.
I was actually I'm
Oh, you are.
Purpose, but,
getting to know each other. I
Oh, you are.
wanted
This is IRC.
One is,
So
which is like,
one of the different
project
communication
CLI
methods
assistance,
that
CLI, then
he
there's
demonstrated up
the
there was like,
OpenStack.
oh, you.
And
That's
money
exactly
that
what's
recently
like
changed moved from the Manuela CLI to the OpenStack CLI, so that we are.
Okay.
Hang
So.
out.
I can't help myself, I'm a child, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's ancient.
So that's the thing, like. Small thing over. That's what.
You're still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change like, moving where we involve the messages and switch from.
do any contributions, right? To just
I
my
know,
mind
absolutely.
how to, because I forgot.
I will look forward to the.
So.
Yeah, because I forgot most of it.
There's other similar documentation, like there are also some link fruits.
Right.
I think code bugs they are.
That is something.
Yeah, and then there's like the documentation. Documentation is, I think it's supposed to be easier to get them with like on when you are submitting the change. But yeah, that's you can choose like what
This way something.
you would like to pick it up, and then you can.
Like this would be more of a code.
Okay.
But it's less useful for that.
The first one is
Easier to do.
going to be like, I think we have 5 or 6 or something like that.
Still unassigned.
It is but it's step or. So, yeah, I'm looking at you. Aside and like.
So.
Yeah, 5 years back.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
He can do it.
Okay. So we have. We use OpenStack and
So.
so like when I was.
So you gotta.
Pretty simple at this point because you've done it so many times. Not be very steep.
Yeah.
So it sends, it sets up the same.
When you last saw.
When you do one single node, everything is on one.
We are.
There is a single node stack cluster. The same dev stack.
Okay, yeah, that what I
There are some. I think.
And if you'd like, there is a project called DevStack plugins.
okay,
That's where what actually enables this.
There'll be like OpenStack.
That's what enables all of this. Step integration.
Then as soon as the code is like downloaded.
Okay.
Then yeah, you can
Just to enable sender.
add it.
Equals to true. Check, there are lots of other options, but this is what. Isn't even as complicated as it looks like. Oh yeah.
No, yeah, that's fine.
So
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for that.
No problem.
So I like after I kind of moved to work and get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Work mostly with storage folks.
Yeah. That we are.
Bringing back to that.
All right, I brought the rest.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Thanks
meet you.
for mentioning the context.
So it's not your stuff. It's my stuff. And so essentially what I'm doing is I have an SSH config and have host opendev specify. Sorry. Yes.
We commented those 2 out.
So your name is normally some sort of mixed case, something in.
All right, I'll just check on it.
Username, that's why I was asking you.
For some reason, I thought that was incorrect.
No, if you hear find me on IRC, you'll also.
Got logged in. That should work. We need to know how to assign a button to.
yes.
How would we do that?
By adding.
That's different.
Shoot.
Cause you,
I
no,
wasn't doing the
you just,
Oh, I would sign it.
Skip this.
Yeah, yeah.
there.
That's what I was doing, but let's type it out like this, and of course that's not gonna.
Your name, the signee, and then I'll go ahead and do it.
This smells like.
Yeah, Chris, so you want, so what?
Added.
Now I changed.
On the other pad, we have like the,
Yeah, so just put under the needs fixing.
here,
Put your username.
launch page username. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and.
That is what you should see. Great, so let's do it
No, watch it works.
now. Great.
Check.
But at least it's
So
stayed with
we
the
just have this room for 5 more minutes, and after which everybody's supposed to take a break and head down for the keynotes. But we're going to hang out here for a few more minutes if you'd like to exchange some contact information. We were just chatting over there. So if you pick up a bug and would like to work with us, we can just catch up with
I
you
looked at it.
and work through your bug submission process. So where do we go from here, really? So what happens here is you've picked up your bug, you're going to fix it. If you have trouble doing that, you can get in touch with us, and we'll help you fix it. And once you fixed your bug, you would commit it locally using a commit message, right? So it would be the same git commit with your commit message. And once you're done committing, the command to upload it up to Gerrit would be git space review. Because you've installed the git and the review commands, everything should just work. But if you're having troubles doing that, that's again some place where we can help. So we'll still stick around, but we're saying thanks and goodbye while we still have the room and the microphone.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time. I may reach out to you. I do have some code, some stuff to commit or to help try to get reviewed and get upstreamed. Maybe I'll reach out to you guys if that's okay to
Absolutely.
get some
And we'll
assistance.
be happy to set up some time with you and we'll help you with that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know there's probably some test or some code trees I need to add there to get it to pass the CIDC pieces and some of that, and maybe some refactoring of the code for Pepe compliance. But
yes,
this is at least a start. And I have a working repo internally that I need to publish externally from NASA. As none of it's proprietary code or anything. It's just forked from the open source Neutron bits.
Okay.
But I've got some things to do before I can get there.
Sure thing. And we'd be happy to put you in touch with anybody from the upstream communities as well. So in case you don't already know them, we'll be happy to make the introductions.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So I'm good friends with some of the Stack HPC guys, and we've been using some of their work, but some of it is our own upstream that's forked too. So yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe we can sync up sometime after this call or whenever.
Yep, sure thing. And you have our email addresses. I'm going to type it out even in this Etherpad, just so you can copy it somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't have yours at the moment, but if it's in the Etherpad, I will make a note to save them. And you've got my info up there, both my public Gmail and then my NASA one.
Do you want to see yes? All right. So we've dropped them in the Etherpad as well.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'll reach out to you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All set up. So yeah, it was the A one.
Question, do I need? Do we? Open? Or again?
It was quite a few different things, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's
Sure.
documentation,
Find some issues.
Success.
I said there's no always correct. Yes. We don't really maintain.
Was it today?
Like, or,
Yeah, they're girls.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Yes, so we do this particular thing, which takes one of our. Just a single.
The whole intellectual property.
Like
might
Nexus.
Use that tag.
Yes. You'll see that on.
Oh,
hanging.
okay.
And if anything doesn't make sense, I mean, I really consider low hanging fruit that on the path.
Choose to sit.
So come and get it.
Must be nice.
No. Yeah.
So now you're fixed.
Good. And,
Set your 90 minutes. You're set. Good to go.
Okay, now the real question
Yeah,
becomes.
But the bugs may not make.
Thanks, I'm trying to contribute to their code.
Yeah.
No bother. Not that it's.
Because I usually hang in on their weekend. I complain about some things. Don't want to have that.
So what's your
They're always
IRC
so
on
nice.
this today?
Overhead. Like.
And the problem.
I go to OpenStack Ansible.
Client used to use, so I've. Decent.
Spot.
Using hex chat address. I cannot.
I would think to me.
I don't know.
I don't know why it's.
EXT.
UAL.
D.
This one's more popular. Next slide.
Don't pay as much attention.
This is more popular. But like a 7 lifetime fee.
Code.
You want to download the,
Okay.
I think you should be able to download it on free version as well. You would just insert, it's a fancy insert.
Yeah, I try using Lime chat.
I have not used TextChat or LangChat in
Sorry, we're gonna send them over direction.
It's been around, but I don't know whether.
This talk is what I'm here for too. I'm actually here. No, it's at 3:35.
Exactly, yeah.
But unfortunately, I cannot use it.
Actual session.
Okay.
For here, he was going to, so.
Some people.
That's the you need to work on now.
Starting contribution to. Can we find?
No. Have our VMs and set up. So do that, but IRC client.
Yeah.
Like it's setting.
You could run it on your own server if you'd like, or there is, and that is what most people do. Starting teams. It is totally different. If you want, I can show you. So if you go to the month. So.
Like it's 002. Yeah, the basement. Basement. Thanks, Amy.
Welcome.
And other projects we also use.
And so.
Oh, I got the first one.
To do with those jump onto the
Hello.
access to?
Yeah, was the only?
Not really sure exactly.
You can put the CD to that and then.
Oh.
Yeah, you.
Um,
You.
people like.
Yeah.
I
One.
think, yeah. But I say because like.
Distributed for a long time.
And there was one.
Give me a call.
So just,
Yes.
just go ahead with the assessment.
That's like a point. So I went to a. No, I lost my reviews. Well, you were a bunch of them.
I've got RDO sticker.
The
Yeah.
very big time by the Buddha. Which.
I've got a very limited.
Right.
Depends on.
Permission, yes.
Yeah, we assigned it.
Maybe I can. Thanks for stopping me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shut this down.
Yes. RDO. All right, everyone, we're ending the Zoom call. Thank you for coming and hope to hear from you.